everyone, it's Jessica Dipzinski. Thank you for watching with me today. So this month, the Makers with Heart are doing a stash busting theme for our videos in January. And I have to admit that I have a lot of these layout kits still sitting around in my stash from the old Craft with Heart subscription boxes that I used to get for many years. Now, a lot of the layouts I did create and use, but some of them I still have sitting here in the package like this one. This is from April of 2022, I believe. And I haven't made either of the two layouts that go along with this month. So I have pulled out some pictures from Easter Day a couple of years ago, and I think it's going to work well for this layout here on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half just so I can focus on that bottom double page layout. And I'll show you there are a couple of things that come here in this kit. So you do get a sticker sheet, and it is nicely divided to show you, which ones go along with the first layout and which ones go on with the second layout. Usually what I do is I just cut them in half and then I set the other layout stuff aside. Then there also is a die cut sheet where you can easily punch out the different shapes and images that go along with the layout. So I'll just go ahead and pop out all of the ones that go out for layout number 2, and I'll cut that excess off and set the other one to the side for when I make the first layout eventually. And here are those base pages for that one, so I don't need those today. And then here are the pre-printed base pages that go along with layout number 2. So when I'm looking at this guide here, I don't think that my photos, the number that I have and the direction that they are in, will work for the way that they have this designed. So I'm going to modify it just a little bit and kind of turn some of these pages until I find a way for it to work for me. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't normally create these layout kits this way. I'm usually very much like a rule follower, and I like to follow all the directions, but I'm going to go a little rogue here. I've also pulled out a whole bunch of stamp sets that I have in my stash that have rabbits in them, since this is from Easter Day, and I think I'm going to try to include at least one of those images on my layout kit today. Okay, so I'm looking at the guide and trying to just figure out, how can I put these photos on here in a different way. I have a lot more photos than what the layout calls for, and so I'm thinking I'll probably need to pull in some flip flaps in order to make this work. But since I have turned the orientation of these pre-printed pages, I'm just trying to figure out, how can I put this all together on here and still leave myself a little bit of room for that sticker title, which is quite large. So I think I end up moving it from the way it is right here. But again, I just kind of spent a little bit of time in the beginning playing around with things and trying stuff out to see what was going to work. So if you are like me and your brain very much likes to follow the rules and the way things are, set out for you, this can be a little bit hard, but I did find that once I just played around with it and moved it around, it was a lot easier to approach it this way. So I did cut down 2 of my pictures that I didn't really love to a 3x3 size. That way I could include them in a flip flap and kind of hide them from the main look of the page, but still include them in the layout. And then I did also think that these photos needed to pop a little bit more off the page, so I grabbed some peach colored cardstock and I went ahead and matted all of my photos on that peach colored cardstock, and then I also edge distressed it with a little bit of peach colored ink. So I'm going to bring in my Versamat and T-square ruler just to help me put all of these pictures down straight. And I think that this particular formation is going to work. And you can see here I've got 2 flip flaps, one in a 3x3 size and one in a 3x4 size. And I did manage to leave myself plenty of room down here in this bottom corner where I can put that sticker title on. I'm going to bring in my Versamat again just to kind of help me with some lines later to make sure that I put the sticker down straight. I have seen other people do a trick where they take like alphabet stickers or, something that you have a title that's in a sticker format and kind of stick part of it to a ruler and then the rest of it kind of hanging off the ruler to make sure that you can lay it on straight. I'm just grabbing my paper crafting tool here. As long as I can get my fat fingers out of the way so that I can see it a little bit easier, I think I'm pretty comfortable eyeballing it. So I'm going to do most of this here, just kind of, you know, looking at it, making sure it appears to be straight, and then I will pull in my T-square ruler a little bit later. Okay, so I managed to get the title on there. I did not use those photo mats that were on there, but I am going to use all of those die cut flowers and leaves that came with this kit. They are just too pretty. That is one of the things that I love about using a layout kit, is that it saves so much time. Now, if I had put this together the way that the plans originally called for, I can usually do these layouts in about 15 minutes or so. But it did take me a little bit longer because I was changing things up, and you know, that was a lot of decision making. But I do appreciate having these really beautiful punch out die cuts, because then I don't have to take the time to stamp and color and die cut things out. They're just already created for me, and they're really beautiful, and they go along perfectly with the pattern that is printed on this page. So I'm going to do a little cluster down here, and then another one in the top corner on the left-hand page. And then I'm going to come over to the stickers. There are a couple here that have like the leaves and stuff. So grab my little paper crafting tool again to the rescue to get my fingers out of the way. And then I'll kind of stick that down, and I'll put this leaf sticker up here in my other cluster. And yeah, I think I like the way that that is working. Originally, I did have those 2 photos, 3x3 photos on the right-hand page down a little bit, but then the 2 floral clusters were too close to each other on the 2 pages. So I just slid them up and then put my second cluster down there on the bottom of the right page. All right, I did attach those flowers and leaves, some of them with thin 3D foam tape and some with regular 3D foam tape, just to kind of vary the different heights and dimension there. And then there are a couple of stickers. I don't end up using all of them, again, because I have changed the look of this layout kit a little bit, and so I didn't have as many spaces to use them as, you know, the original layout called for, but I do like a bunch of them, and so I'm gonna actually stick this one up on a little bit of foam tape. So I'm grabbing my anti-static pouch just to remove the adhesive off the back, and then I'll put a little bit of foam tape behind it just to make that one that says memories pop up a little bit more, and I'm gonna set it over top of my photo. And then I have just a couple more stickers I want to put down, and then I will turn to my stamp set so that I can customize this a little bit for Easter Day. So this was kind of, when I was looking at these pictures, they were all over the place. They were all from the same day at my parents' house on Easter, but you know, some of them were inside and the lighting was not very good. And then a bunch of them were outside and the kids were doing bubbles with my dad. And so they didn't really feel like they were very connected, even though they were all on the same day. And like I said, a bunch of them, I didn't really care for the photos, but I still wanted to use them. And whenever I have a set of pictures like that just really aren't inspiring me to create with them, that's when I like to turn to these kind of kits, because then I can just put them down and you know what, I've scrapbooked them, but I didn't really have to force myself to think too terribly creatively about something that, you know, wasn't really very inspiring to me. So I do love those layout kits for that reason. And I know there are still some of these kits available on my website, so I will leave links to those in the description box down below. Now, I didn't end up using those photo mats that came with the layout kit, and I didn't have that one pattern over on the right-hand page. So I just cut one of the mats, and then I'm going to do a little dovetail banner in it, and I'm going to stick it up here in this top corner just to help carry that pattern over, since it is behind my 4x6 photo on the left-hand side of the page. Okay, I think that's probably pretty much it as far as the things that came with the kit. So now I'm going to really kind of go off and venture on my own. I decided to use the spring rabbit. I thought because he was more of like a realistic looking rabbit that he kind of fit well with those flowers on there. You know, I didn't want one that was too cartoony looking. I wanted something more realistic. And I decided to use my colored pencils to color him in. And I just put that foam mat underneath my paper to help kind of soften the look of the colored pencil. It didn't take too long to color him, and I think he turned out pretty realistic looking. We do actually have a brown colored bunny as a pet, and the whole time I was coloring him, I was like, he looks just like Easter Bunny, which is the name of our bunny. So that was perfect considering that this was an Easter layout. I will attach the coordinating die cut to him and then run him through my die cutting machine here. And you can see I've already glued together a couple of other die cuts, just some blank ones. And I think he ends up being 3 or 4 pieces of cardstock thick, just to give him more of that chipboard dimension rather than a single layer of cardstock. So I'll go ahead and glue this final top layer on and then set that aside to dry and get it put onto my page. So while I am gluing the rest of that together, I'm just excited to share with you that in January 2023, we have welcomed a new member to the Makers with Heart group. Melanie from Mel's Stamping Gallery is going to be joining us from now on, and we are just thrilled to have her. We love her work. She makes beautiful projects, and we have enjoyed watching all of her videos. So we hope that if you are not already a subscriber to Mel, that you head on over to Mel's Stamping Gallery and add her to your list. She is going to be releasing her video tomorrow. The other ladies in the Makers with Heart group have already gone ahead of me this week, so I will leave links to all of their videos in the description box down below. I'll leave you here with a couple of still shots of this fun workshop kit that just came together fairly quickly, although I did definitely make a few changes to it. I had to think outside the box for me, but it did work, and like I said, it was able to make it fit for the photos that I had, and that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you're having a good one, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye.